Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into a big one, a classic that, well, it shaped generations, Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. Our goal, like always, is to give you that quick hit, the key takeaways, maybe some surprising bits, all pulled from our deep look at the novel. Think of it as your fast track to really, truly getting this book. So, context first. Published 1960, right? But it's set way back in the 1930s, Macomb, Alabama. Deeply segregated South.
Absolutely. And what grabs you immediately, I think, is how it just dives straight into these huge questions of morality, prejudice, justice, and the way it does it through young Scout Finch's eyes. It's just so effective. Her perspective, kind of innocent, but also incredibly sharp, makes these themes resonate even now. It still feels very potent.
Yeah, most people know the basic setup. Scout, her brother Jem, their dad, Atticus Finch, the lawyer. Lots of childhood adventures, the whole mystery around Boo Radley. But as our review showed, it doesn't stay just a simple coming-of-age story for long, does it? It shifts pretty quickly into something, well, deeper. What did the review highlight about that shift?
Well, the absolute core, the real turning point, is Atticus defending Tom Robinson. He's a black man falsely accused of raping a white woman. And our review really hammered this home. This trial isn't just plot, it's Lee showing us, really exposing the systemic racism, the ingrained inequality baked into that society. Actually, a little detail a review mentioned, apparently parts of the Tom Robinson case might have been inspired by a real trial Harper Lee knew about as a kid.
Oh, wow. That adds another layer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Makes it feel even more grounded in reality.
Mm.
Okay, so let's move from the plot itself to the themes. That's where the real power lies. Our review points to racial injustice first. Beyond just the verdict for Tom Robinson, what else stood out in Lee's portrayal?
Yeah, the verdict is tragic, obviously. But what the review flagged, and what I think is so smart, is how Lee uses the supposedly good folks in Macomb. The jury, for instance. It shows that prejudice isn't always, loud, shouting hatred. Sometimes it's quiet. It's this deeply rooted bias that people might not even recognize in themselves. And it's insidious. It's systemic. And that ties right into the next theme, the loss of innocence.
Right.
For Scout and Jem, it's not just about getting older. It's this really painful awakening to how the world actually works, how prejudice works. They have to see it, understand it.
So it's not like separate lessons. They learn about the prejudice because their innocent view gets shattered.
Yeah.
And then standing against all that, you've got moral integrity and courage. And that's Atticus Finch, right? Through and through. Our read mentioned how he's not just about principles in court. He lives it, teaching his kids empathy, justice, standing up for right, even when, well, basically everyone disagrees. Did the review mention his quieter moments? Like beyond the big trial stuff?
Oh, absolutely. He's not just a courtroom hero. The review pointed out his everyday actions, how he treats the Cunninghams with dignity, even Mrs. Dubose, who's so difficult. He's respectful. It shows that courage isn't always like a big dramatic speech. Sometimes it's just living your values day in, day out, quietly. And connecting that outwards, the book tackles more than just race. It hits on social inequality broadly, class differences, gender roles, all these hierarchies that decided who mattered in Macomb. It's a critique of that whole system.
Yeah, it's layered.
Yeah.
And these themes hit so hard because of the characters. So who really jumped out from our review as embodying these complex issues?
Well, Atticus, obviously. He's the moral center, isn't he? Still so admired. That quiet strength, the wisdom, the ethics. He's genuinely inspirational for so many readers, even now.
And Scout, our narrator. Her perspective is just brilliant. So honest, so direct. It provides humor, yeah, but also these sharp insights into everything going on.
Yeah.
It's almost funny how her bluntness just slices through all the town's polite nonsense.
It really does. It's a unique viewpoint onto Macomb's harsher sides. And then there's Jem, her older brother. You really feel the impact of it all through him. Watching the injustice, it hits him hard. He grows up fast.
Definitely. And we can't forget Boo Radley. Our review spent time on him, this symbol of like kindness that's totally misunderstood.
Yeah.
And the damage prejudice does. And Tom Robinson himself, his character, his trial, it just lays bare the brutal reality of racism the book confronts.
And the way Lee weaves all these themes, characters together, it's really down to her writing style, isn't it?
Yeah.
What did our review highlight about her prose specifically?
Yeah, the prose, it's described as elegant, but still really accessible, which is quite a trick. She manages this blend of warmth, humor, but also deep poignancy, all through Scout's voice. It's just beautifully done.
Exactly. And that style is crucial. It means these really heavy, complex themes become, well, not easy, but digestible without watering them down at all. Plus, there's that Southern Gothic feel the review mentioned, that atmosphere, kind of decaying, dark humor sometimes, these deeply flawed people. It pulls you right into makeup, makes the moral issues feel even stronger.
No question, the impact has been huge. Pulitzer Prize in 61, it's taught everywhere. But looking at our review, what's the core reason it still resonates so much today? Why does it stick?
That's the key question, I think. Why does it last? Well, especially now, with all the ongoing talk about race, justice, equity, it still feels relevant. Atticus Finch keeps coming up as this model of integrity, and the book itself, it just keeps sparking conversations about morality, about empathy. The lessons haven't aged, really. They challenge us still.
Now, being thorough means looking at all sides.
Hmm.
Our review did acknowledge that not everyone sees the book the same way today. There are some criticisms, right? We need a balanced picture.
Yes, that's fair. And important to mention, some modern critiques focus on the idea of the white savior trope with Atticus, the argument being that he's the white character driving the change for the marginalized black characters, maybe overshadowing their own agency. And another point sometimes raised is that the black characters like Tom or Calpurnia perhaps aren't developed with the same depth as the white characters like Scout or Atticus. It's a perspective that's definitely part of the conversation now.
Okay. Important points to consider, for sure.
But even with those critiques, To Kill a Mockingbird, it remains this incredibly powerful, essential piece of literature, exploring these tough, vital topics through a child's eyes, focusing on that moral conviction. It still educates, it still challenges, it still inspires across generations.
Absolutely. It's definitely one we recommend if you're into classic literature, social justice issues, or just really strong character-driven stories with real moral weight. Which leaves us with a final thought, maybe. What does this story, set almost a century ago, mean for us now, as we're still wrestling with justice, empathy, and equality, just like Maycomb was? Something to ponder, right?